Hello and welcome to another Wiki gameplay video. Today I'm back in Prepared Flight Simulator version 2.2. Just as you know, if you've watched my previous video, my first impressions of Prepared, it's a pretty nice simulator, and you'd also know, looking at my channel, that I mostly spend time flying in X-Plane 10. So it was one of those things I wanted to jump on Prepared as well and have a look at that and showcase that on the channel. And what I guess there's two main reasons for that. The two things that are really I guess made me want to look at Prepared was, one was the Orbix scenery, which I think looks really cool and something I was definitely interested in looking at, and two is these A2A this A2A C172 Trainer. So if you don't know anything about A2A aircraft, you'll know that they have their own, I believe it's like a AcuSim, it's called AcuSim, is their kind of flying engine, which I believe they use to kind of develop their own sort of dynamics of how the plane flies and how the plane interacts with the way you're flying the plane, the way you're using the controls and all those sorts of things. So they kind of can add some additional realism, which is pretty cool. And one of the main reasons that I was interested in that is because after flying a simulator, I'm actually really interested in going and trying the real thing. So the first step for me was, well, let's have a look at what these planes are really like and how much different are they compared to what I've experienced in X-Plane 10. Let's have a little quick spin around this plane. I mean, it's really, I mean, while they've done a phenomenal job of you know, making this aircraft look really cool, it's very well detailed. You can see how detailed that is, and the texturing is amazing. It's very, very nice. The thing that appeals to me the most is the fact that you have to fly this thing properly, and you know, it is, these guys have actually sat in there and fly these things, and you know, they've made sure it's simulated based on real world kind of flying. So I think that that's pretty appealing for someone who's considering flying in the real world. Now I've got EasyDock working. I know that doesn't always work well with some of the views. It's probably one of well, I think EasyDock's kind of nice. I can't say that it's as fluid as X-Plane 10's cameras. That just maybe needs more tweaking, but that's something I'll have to work on. So let's see if we can jump in the cockpit here. And yep, here we are. We can get into the cockpit and we can see what's going on here. So pretty standard kind of Cessna. I mean, they do have a GPS here, which is pretty cool. Let's have a little look around. I mean, pretty standard stuff. I mean, you've got your typical what you might expect from any of these kind of planes. You know, anyone who does a good job at putting these things together. I mean, these guys have done a really nice job. I mean, if you just look at, you can just zoom in here. I'm still getting familiar with the keys here, but you know, look at how well that's textured. It's super clear, you know, all the writing on the fascia there, which is very, very cool. And if I was, you know, not taking anything away from Coronado, but you know, I have their 172 plane as well, and you know, this is way ahead of that in terms of the texture quality, and that may be that Coronado's, you know, that was one of their earlier aircraft. I mean, because some of their later stuff is super clear like this. So that's my only complaint about the Coronado C172, and why this also appealed to me. Also, after I got this aircraft and looked at a little bit of how they put this thing together, I noticed in other aircraft that I've purchased now that the sounds are all the same, but these guys have got different sounds for the switches, the actual sound. Yeah, how cool is that? You know, they've recorded that window, they've recorded these handles. Can we close this door? You know, they've recorded each and every sound, all of them. I don't know how many of these are, like say the button switches. Will this let me down here? Oh, I've broken it. This is what happens with my Easy Dock. One of these breaks my views, then it doesn't like me anymore. See if I can get this back on track. They all kind of sound the same. Yeah, maybe I disabled it. It looked like I disabled it. But you can see what I was talking about there. So I'm going to just zoom in here. Okay, so listen to those switches. I don't know if all these are unique. They all kind of sound the same. Can't really hear anything there. But all these, wherever anything makes noise, very cool. That is super cool. So there you go. You know that it doesn't seem like such a big deal when you're just flying this plane, but you jump into another plane and you really do notice it. So okay, probably not a huge amount to talk about around this plane. I mean, it's a very nicely detailed Cessna. So I'll just see if I can show you, like you have this instrument panel. I don't really remember all the shortcuts. I'm still getting familiar with Prepar3d and the best way to get around here. But if we have a look, you know, you'll see things like this clipboard. Gives you a little bit of the notes. What else do we have? We have the mini controls, which you can turn things on and off. Like your vents, you can turn your fuel pump on instead of doing it. Yeah, these are all basically all the options. Beacon light. What else? There was something here I really did want to show. Just turn them off for a second. There may be a shortcut to these, but as I said, I'm not that familiar with them. Maintenance hanger. Some of the plugs are fouled. So this is one of the main things, I guess, is some of the plugs are fouled. Try leaning out during your ground ops. Lower elevator actuator needs to be serviced. I have no idea what that lower elevator actuator needs to be serviced. Anyway, I'm just going to give it a complete overhaul. And this thing is back in business. But you can see here they've got different batteries, different tires. You can put these seals on. You can put these main fairing on, the nose wheel fairing, and different props, which I think gives you different engine performance. So that's kind of the general gist of that. So actually, if I swap this, yeah, you'll see the prop changes there. That's factory stock. This is a 1272S equivalent. So this maybe is the more higher performance one. I'm not sure. Now I don't know which one's which. Anyway, I'm going to go with that. Let's go with that one. You can see how good my knowledge is of planes. Definitely still learning. Okay, so why don't we just fire this thing up? And there is a little, while it might seem simple, you can definitely run into problems if you don't do things properly. So let's get the clipboard out. Priming for cold engine, run fuel pump for 3 seconds. So these are the notes. I'm not even going to really worry about those. Airplane weight and balanced. Okay, let's get this going here. Control wheel lock. There's a lock here somewhere, but I'm just not going to worry about that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got our parking brake on. Turn that on. Control wheel locks removed. Ignition avionics are on. So now we've got some power. You can see we've got some lights showing up here. We've got our fuel and that. You can see we've got fuel. Check fuel quantity, which we're good. If we look down here, looks like 3/4 of a tank. Static pressure alt source valve off. I have no idea what that is. Annunciator panel test switch. Maybe it's one of these. Like, I don't even know where all these switches are. I can't see a switch there. I would have thought it was this thing. There we go, it is. It is this thing. All good? Can I just zoom in there? Uh-oh, I've broken my thing again. So here we got bright. Oh, okay, so that's bright, that's test. Okay, so we'll just dim that. Okay, what else have we got? We'll just get this view back up. Back to the clipboard. I don't know what the static pressure alt source valve is, so I'm not going to worry about that. Fuel valve selector. Let's get this back over here. God, it's both. Now I've got rid of this thing again. This is what I mean by sometimes I can find these views a bit annoying. What do we got? So fuel selector, fuel valve shut off. That's this one here, so we make sure that's all the way in. Flaps extended. I guess that's just to test that all your flaps are actually working. So I'll do that. And we'll just maybe stick it down to 10%. Master switch is off. Elevator trim set for takeoff. So this looks good. So alright, let's get to the business end, which is the engine starting. So what we want to do here is crack the throttle. So we put it about, that's throttle on. We'll stick that about there. We'll stick the mixture on idle. We'll turn the master switch on. And the beacon, I believe, is already on. Which it is. I gotta get this view back up. Ah, how annoying. Okay. Beacon's on. Skip step 9 for warm engine. I don't know if auxiliary pump's on. Fuel pump. I believe you're supposed to wait for something up here. That's probably enough. Mixture rich until stable fuel flow for 3.5 seconds. Alright, well let's try that again. I'll probably flood the engine. So rich until stable fuel flow. Alright, that's good. Then we turn the pump off, which we have. We would normally check that the prop is clear. We're not going to cut anyone up by just starting the motor up. Just get this thing back. How annoying would that be? That's pretty annoying that it keeps disappearing every time I switch, but there you go, that's what happens. That's one of the things I don't like about EasyDock and some of the add-ons. Actually, my experience with Prepared is they're all kind of, they don't really feel integrated as good as they could be. I don't know why that is, but that's just how it is. So props clear, ignition switch. Let's try and set this thing. Are we good? Yep, let's get this thing going. Start. Apply some fuel. See how I'm going to fail starting this thing. Might help if I turn the battery on, wouldn't it? That is on. Okay. Yep, pretty bad failure. You should start. You can see that it is not going to happen. I've probably flooded this engine now. And there you go. That's what's cool about this plane, is that you can just flatten the battery, just like that. And when you're new to a plane like this, that's exactly what happens. So, you know, and I'm wondering if how realistic that is. I'm sure these guys have done their homework and made this thing, you know, realistic. So, pretty cool. Let's go to mini controls. Now, what I'm going to do is cheat here. We're going to go auto start. Cool. So, at least then I can show you what this plane's all about. So we can just turn that back. We'll give it a bit more. Give it a bit more fuel here. So here we go. Alright, let me get this going. Let's turn our pitot tube heat on. Landing lights we might leave. Fuel pumps off. Leave our avionics on. And you can see here we got our GPS, which kind of looks like this. A little bit different to what I'm used to in X-Plane 10, but pretty functional. As of X-Plane, what I'm talking about X-Plane now, X-Plane 10.3 just released today, and it supposedly has a really good GPS unit. From what I've seen, it does look pretty good. I just checked out one of the default planes, and it looked pretty feature-rich, although I haven't played around with it that much, but at least you can now do multiple waypoints for your trips, not just point to point, which is pretty cool. So I'm not going to get too fancy here. Let's just take this thing up into the air, and let's just have a little look at her while she's flying. One thing I do notice, I find this, for whatever reason, is a bit tricky to turn. Looks like I've got some problems with my I'm flooding it. Probably what I should do. Just going to stop here. See if I can clear these plugs. Probably should have let the engine warm up, but hey, you know, this is simulation, so I'm in a hurry. What can I say? Alright, now I'm at Camden Airport, which is the reason why I'm starting here. Camden Airport is just outside of, like on the outskirts of Metro Sydney, and is probably going to be, I'm thinking, the airport that I'm going to start doing my private pilot license testing. I'm looking at scheduling in very soon my, probably going a bit fast here, my first introductory session with those guys, after speaking to a few different flying schools here in Sydney, and that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. So stop. Doesn't want to stop, and we're got to run my incursion. So I'm just going to fly over to here, or taxi over to here. Don't think I turned my taxi lights on, but anyway, so much for realism. Very nice aircraft, and there's actually a couple of skins that have just come out for the interior here that look really good. You can have a black sort of fascia, which I actually kind of prefer, to be honest. Let me just get on the outside of this plane here for a second. Now let me just see that front. I usually find that front wheel, like when I hit the brakes, then it just really turns sharp. I don't know if that's a bug. It seems to be one of the few planes that does that, but that may be because that's how it really does it. I don't know. So if anyone knows about that, let me know. Alrighty, so we're just going to get lined up here again. Very nice plane to fly here. Okay, let me just put the brake on there. Is she on? Let's just do that for 1 second. Definitely having some issues with the might put my pump on. I got my taxi lights on. I think that's good to go. Like I said, I'm not a professional pilot. Never taken flying lessons, so I'm not 100% clued up on all the processes. I think we're good. Let's give it a go. So let's go full rich on the mixture. Got our volt lights on. That's kind of interesting. We're just going to fly to Camden. Looks like we've got a little bit of cloud. Try and lean out this a bit. My flaps up. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of frame rate issues here, but I generally find that's only when I'm recording, so nothing really to worry about in terms of prepared. Should probably put my headphones in. It just makes things a little bit quieter, and sort of we're off and on our way. Very nice looking plane. Prepared actually is a pretty nice simulator. Like I said, my main reason is to try and get the most realistic aircraft I can get, and I wanted to compare X-Plane 10. You know, the A2A simulators, definitely something I was interested in looking at. There's also, while it doesn't work very well with EasyDock, the ability to check flaps and fuel, and you know, sort of more realistic real-world checks that you would do if you were really wanting to fly. You know what you would actually be doing. So that's definitely something that appealed to me. I just haven't really spent the time to learn about what that looks like at the moment. Obviously, if I'm thinking about becoming or getting my own private pilot license, being able to follow those rules and having a place to practice that is going to be extremely important. Getting in the habit of following the right process and doing it properly every time. So, you know, not taking shortcuts. Even though in say this video, you know, I've been taking a lot of shortcuts, you know, not really worrying about my lighting and stuff, but that's just in the interest of keeping these videos relatively short and giving you guys an opportunity to see what this aircraft's like. Now, this aircraft just recently became available with a prepared 3D installer. Previously they only had an FSX version which worked, I believe, in prepared. But yeah, now they have a dedicated installer, so that's kind of cool. Now you can know it works. So it looks like, I don't know if we're fogging up or it's just that's another cool thing. Like if we open our windows, we hear that bit of wind, and it may just be the window fogging up here. So this will just give us a bit of fresh air in here. Just to see if that window clears up. I think that it could be just some cloud cover. Probably something else I could have done was check the ATIS, which I didn't do. So Again, like I said, I'm taking a few shortcuts. Yep, it definitely is a bit cloudy out here. But such a nice aircraft. Still playing around with Prepared. It's definitely grown on me as the more I play around with it, and I'm getting more comfortable with the controls and the shortcuts. Yeah, I definitely think it's a worthwhile sim worth getting if you're interested in flight training. And for me, I guess I didn't want to invest into FSX, being a platform that is not going to be really developed any further. So one of my main reasons for getting Prepared, and also comparing with X-Plane 10. So fairly brief, not an extensive look at this aircraft, but just wanted to share with you guys what this aircraft looks like on the inside, what the basics of it are. You can see you've got those views. I apologise for my lack of being able to set these up in a super efficient way. I'm hoping to improve that as we roll out more of these videos. Anyway, I might just leave it there for today. I plan on doing more of these videos, and I will share when I do go on my first lesson for my private pilot license with the channel. Also, if you want to see more of these kind of videos, please hit the subscribe button. If you like these kind of videos, also give us a thumbs up. It does help increase visibility of the channel and allows me to deliver better quality videos going forward, being able to spend more time on the content. So that's something I'm definitely interested in doing. Always appreciate your interest in watching the videos. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.